All right. Well, it looks like we're starting to file in here. So with that, I'll get started. My name is Austin Grajek. I'm working with YouAttest, and YouAttest is an identity governance solution. It pairs beautifully with Okta, and so that is why today we have our special guest speaker, Jennifer Galvin from Okta. You'll hear from her in a little bit. She's a senior solutions architect, field alliances, and she's going to explain something about Okta, just in case you're unfamiliar with it, or you have any questions, and then later we'll go into and talk about more about YouAttest. So first off, who are we? Jennifer, I'll pass this off to you and give you just a chance to introduce yourself and tell everyone kind of a little bit more about you.
Thank you. My name is Jennifer Galvin. I do field alliances enablement for all of the East Coast of the US and also all of Canada. And I've been with Okta approximately 4.5 years, and I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. We're lucky to have you. So my name is Austin, as I mentioned. I'm with YouAttest. I've been here since its beginning. I am mainly in charge of sales, but I also am very hands-on when it comes to taking any sort of feedback and passing it along to developers, making sure that I'm understanding the needs of what is out there and seeing that YouAttest meets those. So I think we'll kind of go over to the agenda really quick. As I mentioned, we're just going to pass it off to Jennifer. She'll talk about what is Okta, what is it used for, and just something along those lines. And then I will go into just some current problems in the marketplace with IGA today. Finally, we'll go over to talking about our cloud-based solution and a demo, and then we will open it up for questions from you all. So with that being said, I'll pass it on over to Jennifer.
All right. And at Okta, our mission is to enable any organization to use any technology. For that could be your customers, your employees, your contractors, your partners, and really any application that they access from any device that they're using to access. And millions of people use Okta every day when they go to work every morning, and a lot of people use Okta today as customers of very large companies today, and they don't even know that they are using Okta. Next slide. Okta is the leader in identity and security today. We are the #1 in the analyst spaces, both Gartner and Forrester. We have been for the past 5 years running. We have over 6,500 different integrations that are already pre-built, so you'll be able to use Okta to connect all the applications that you use today. And we also have pre-built connections and integrations to your HR systems, your existing identity stores, and anything else upstream to connect the users that you already have. And that gives us some rapid speed to deployment, not just for workforce identity, but we also provide the most functionality and the deepest and most performing application integrations for customer identity as well. We have many customers across 193 countries, and we are the only identity as a service provider to be both FedRAMP and HIPAA certified. We process over 65 million authentications a day, and we process over 600 million API calls a day as well. So even if you start small, whether you're a 50-employee company, Okta is the best choice for you because there's no infrastructure to install. And if you're a 5 million employee company or organization, Okta is still the best solution for you because of our scale. Next slide. And to do that, we offer an independent and neutral platform for your workforce identity. We offer a scalable and secure customer identity platform, and we are the identity-centric approach to your zero trust security strategy today. Go ahead and click. And let's go over some of the capabilities that you might expect from Okta for workforce identity. Click. As you would expect, Okta delivers identity as a service in the cloud. And when it comes to cloud identity, you can use any of all of these functions as you like, or only a few. It's really up to the size and scale of your organization, as well as your current security strategy. It's cloud adoption and it's cloud pricing. So all of these functions that you see here in order to secure identity at your in your organization, from single sign-on, adaptive policies, and multi-factor, universal directory, lifecycle management to synchronize all your users, both upstream and down to those applications, as well as managing and securing the API connections and connections all the way down to servers and infrastructure. You'll be able to use and turn on any of this functionality. There's no need to reinstall software. There's no need to upgrade software. You'll just be able to turn these functions on and consume them. And those get better over time as Okta is improving the platform. We do about 48 upgrades a year. It turns out to be about once a week. We're continually upgrading the security and the functionality so that you can just go ahead and turn it on. Click. Now, workforce identity is really the default perspective that everyone really knows. It's the #1 use case for identity. But Okta, that's just the default view for Okta. Okta is a scalable and secure customer identity platform. And all the functionality you saw there is achievable in applying to your custom applications and those that service your retail friends, your financial applications, and all the applications that service your customers and your partners. Click. And you can consume all of that functionality really in different modes. So you can start automatically with that new application. You just go ahead and you just fill out a form on developer.okta.com. You get your trial tenant, and you can develop right away towards the Okta identity platform. It's just like a service. It's like that you would use in your application normally. It's just like DNS. You would just configure it, and your application just uses it. And then we even have attractive pricing for how you are connecting it and consuming it. Go ahead and click. And that is the overview of Okta.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jennifer. And for those of you wondering, why are we doing an overview of Okta? Well, Okta it's a key system that we operate off of. If you have an Okta tenant and you are curious who is using Okta, who has access to what through Okta, and you want to find that out within your local business, well, you would need an IGA tool. Some problems that the market is facing is these tools can often be very expensive. They could be time consuming. They could require professional services, and just deploying them alone is where a lot of these expenses lie. Within the first 3 years alone, you're going to spend up to 50 to 200% of the original cost just to develop the software, to have it launched, to have the experts come in, just so you could see who has access to what within your Okta tenant or within any one of your systems. So if you're trying to see, maybe you have to be SOX compliant and produce reports, if you need to identify any sort of segregations of duties, you would need some sort of governance tool to be put in place. And these are often really cumbersome. And I'm just going to go to the next slide and kind of show what this is an example of what maybe one of these solutions would look like. You could see these are all these individuals that are necessary just so you could see and manage who has access to what within your business. I don't have all day, and neither do you, so I can't go into every part of this. But basically, what we're trying to get at is your business should focus on what they're good at. And unless you're developing auditing software, this is not that area. So there's a lot of problems with this, but mainly there's just so many users that have to be involved. There's so many people from your company that have to focus on managing just all your auditing needs and all your compliance needs, that you're taking a lot of power away from your company. You're taking a lot of people away from your company, all the resources, time, and money. So you're focusing on something that really could be solved pretty simply. But the alternative to deploying on-premise software, to having one of these expensive companies come in and do a setup, is you could always risk doing this on manually. So say you have an Excel or a Google Sheet. You could record who has access through what through this, and you can make changes based on this right here, just using an Excel sheet. But the problem with these, and some of you who have a Excel sheet that's been passed along your company for maybe 5 or 10 years, as there are so many macros. There are links to other sheets. it is connecting and it's pulling information from so many areas that it's very easy for this to become corrupted. This is really risking your company. It is putting all this information up to human error. So say you're keeping track of, who has access to what, and you need to make this as a report. A simple keystroke could erase all that, could change that, could make it not accurate. And now you don't know if there is a user who has access to a couple accounts that they really shouldn't. Another problem with this is it's really easy for this data to get passed around. You make a copy of the sheet on on one desktop, and then you can move that to another. You could save it to a thumb drive. It's really hard to see who all has access to this and who all is able to manage this, this user information all at once. And so you're kind of exposing yourself for risk here. You're creating a bigger problem than you really need to. And there is an easier solution, and that is where YouAttest comes in. So what YouAttest allows you to do is it's all cloud-based. We mentioned Okta's cloud-based. So YouAttest as well is allowing you to see who has access to what within your Okta tenant, within each applications, and it allows you to make changes within this. Now, what's really special about this is you do not need to have an Okta admin right. You can pass this off to the HR so long as you set up this API integration. I'll go over a little bit later. You will be able to have access to revoke, to certify, to delegate out who has the proper authority to have access to which applications. And as mentioned, you could attest to them as well. You could review a list of individuals, and you could say, yes, at this date and at this time, they should have access to this application. As I mentioned, this is all cloud-based. So the setup for this takes about 5 minutes. You're avoiding that 200% expense setting this up in advance. So I'll kind of just show you a high-level overview of what happens. This is how it's set up. It's just a direct API integration, as mentioned, all powered by AWS, powered by Okta. So this is secure. This is a very simple and easy way to set up your governance and all your management. And for what this looks like, I'll go over to a demo really quick, and I'll show you kind of just a really quick how you would run a campaign, how you would verify who has to what access, and you'll see how simple it really is. So right here's our main login screen. I'm just going to enter in our default login, eOffice. This could be your company's name. But now it's going to ask me to log into Okta. Why it is doing this is because we are tethering the two accounts together. So you're able to pull information within your Okta tenant. So we've set up Okta tenant, and these are our campaigns. So what, as mentioned, was necessary for this, it's just a simple API integration. You can see ours here. Now, if you want to add another API integration, if you want to tether this with another Okta account, it's as simple as just naming it, adding your Okta URL, and the API key. That is all the setup necessary for YouAttest. So as showed to previous solutions, there's a lot of manual work that has to go into there. There's a lot of deployment on premise. This is really all you need to start running audits on your Okta tenant right now. It takes about a couple minutes. And so then once you have this set up, you go back to the campaigns list. And right here, you can run a campaign. And this is just showing you, if you want to see who has access to a certain application, this is how you would do it. So simply select the API source. I'm selecting this one. You notice there's a drop-down feature. This is if, say, you manage multiple Okta tenants, you're an auditing firm, or you manage multiple companies. So this is how you would integrate it with more than one, but we're just going to do one for right now. We'll name this right here. So we'll do SAP Business Operations Q4. And then we select a due date. When does this application need to be attested for? We'll make it June 30th. So right here, what this is asking is which application do we want to pull this information from? This is a list of all the applications within our Okta environment. If you have more, they will all show up here. As long as it's within Okta, it will be available for you to audit, you to attest for. And so we'll select, I said SAP Business Operations, so we'll do this one. Also, just a side note, you can select multiple if you would like. You could select any combination of them. You could select them all and run an audit on every single application you have. But we'll just select the one. Once we click done, so over here, it'll show we are 0% complete on this one. We will go into the application, and right now, this is who all has access. This is it. This is pulling it directly from Okta, so you can see that these 12 users right here have access to your SAP Business Operations folder. And so what now we could do is we can either certify individuals by clicking certify like this. We can revoke out their access simply. Now say you are not the individual that is qualified, or you do not have the proper title to attest for certain individuals. So say we have a few right here. We can actually delegate these out to another user. And so that would simply be by doing this and just assigning it to whoever your existing control state needs to review those. You'll simply just click assign. And there it goes. That's been delegated out, and it'll record that right there. So we'll just finish up this campaign. Let's say we'll revoke a few user access right here, and then we will certify the rest. But no changes are being made within Okta just yet. I think that's important to note at this step. We are simply just kind of putting together a worksheet. And now when we go back out to our campaigns list, you can see, oh, looks like we're only 83% complete. So we got to finish this before we could make any final changes to it. We will, for these, I'll certify. And for the other one, let me find it. And now once we go back out to the main campaigns list, you can see it's 100% complete. So that just means everyone within this application has been attested for. Now finally, no changes have been made within Okta just yet. Once we click execute, it's going to prompt you. It's going to say, are you sure you want to do this? Because changes now are being made within Okta. So once I select execute, hit OK, these will actually be made within the Okta tenant. So what does that mean? Well, if we go back into it, the users that were revoked access, they no longer have access to this application within Okta. So they haven't been removed from Okta, just their privilege, their access to SAP Business Operations, they no longer have access to that. And the ones that have been certified, nothing's changed. We just simply said, yep, it's okay for them to have that access. Most importantly, we talked about reporting. So we have a few options that you could review your report. It could be a CSV file, Excel, PDF. But so I could show you all, this is what the print version of the report is going to look like. I'll zoom in so you could see some of the details. But what it highlights is the really important factors are when was this reviewed on and what was the action taken place for which application. You can see what the application name is on the far left over here. You can see the review date right here. And then over to the right, you can see the action that was taken place. So this allows you to run a complete report and show who has access to what, at what time, and then who reviewed it, when it was reviewed, and so forth. Now you have a clear real-time snapshot of what is taking place within your Okta tenant. You're able to identify who has access to what and attest for them. And when you're signing off on this or when you're submitting this report, you have the confidence that there were no, maybe simple keystroke errors, that this was all done systematically. And we did this in a matter of, I think this was about 4 or 5 minutes. So it's very, very quick. It's very simple. And as mentioned, you don't need to have any sort of Okta admin privileges to run these reports with YouAttest. So I'm going to go back over to our presentation, just a few more slides, and then we'll open this to questions. So right here, we just have a simple pricing model. It's $2 a user a month. This is unlimited reports, unlimited applications. You could run any sort of campaign you would like. It's a simple, flat $2 a user per month. And say you're running an audit 1 month, you don't need to run YouAttest for all 12 months. You could just have it for one, cancel the other 11. process through credit cards. So it's fairly simple. It's about as easy to sign up for it as it is to run an attestation report using it. Lastly, I'm just going to talk about something because I see this is coming in a few questions, and these are really, really great questions. Hopefully this answers it. This is a feature that is coming soon. It's entitlements. So there's a lot of questions coming in saying, well, there's multiple roles within my SAP business operations application. There's a lot of, you could be manager, you could be an admin over this. What about that? Our developer right now is very close to finishing this up, so we will have actual entitlement features, and I'm actually going to let him speak on this for a little bit. His name is Mark, and he, as I mentioned, is our head developer, and he's working on this. So Mark, do you mind just explaining this a bit further? Because there's a lot of questions coming in.
Sure, absolutely. So basically, Austin just showed you, a quick campaign and which kind of shows who has access to what. So in this example, he showed SAP, but we are going one step further where you would be able to see who has what kind of access. So it's not just who has access to the application, but what kind of access they have or what level of access they have, whether they are system administrators, whether they are just reporters. So you will be able to grab that information and see that right on the screen. And that will help you in that attestation process as well. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate that, Mark. So that's our presentation. That is what YouAttest can do. It simply isn't everything. We're trying to keep it short, but if you do have questions about either Okta or YouAttest, feel free to write down this contact information. We will have a recording of this presentation going out. But we're always open to feedback, and we're always open to your questions. And if you feel like there's anyone that maybe needs to see this demo or a webinar similar, definitely contact me. I'd love to put something on and explain further, just a little bit of the capabilities and how we could work closely with your business on this. We do have some questions coming in. There's a decent amount, so I'm not too sure if we're going to get to all of them, but I want to just answer the ones that I can. And then if yours doesn't get answered, you have something that you feel like you want to talk about, definitely contact me. So with that, I'm just going to open it up, okay? So the first question is, do I need to deploy anything in my environment? Really what this, I feel like this might be asking is, do I need to deploy anything within Okta or within my own tenant to be able to run this? And the answer to that is no. As long as you have this simple API integration, and as long as you're able to run YouAttest with this API integration, you don't need to deploy anything. It's just all cloud-based, and it's all possible through a simple API integration. So I hope that answers that question, but let's move on. Can I pull in role information? So this is one that we definitely answered already, I hope, but the role application or the role information is coming soon, as Mark mentioned. We are very close to finishing that, and we will have this entitlement feature shortly. And thirdly, it looks like we have, do we need professional services to set up? We went into that a little bit, but no, it doesn't require any sort of professional service. As mentioned, all you need is that API token, your API URL, and you will be able to have access to this. You don't need someone to come in and build something specific out for your company or launch some on-premise software, set up something complex. You really just need that API integration. Excellent. These are great questions. Next, can I delegate a task? So delegating, we see there's a lot of questions actually coming in for automated delegation and automated certification. This is something that isn't in line yet. So there is no ability currently to do any sort of automated delegation. But what you can do is if your company's existing controls are in place, you can simply put ever who is next in line to receive that. You simply just enter their email. They're going to receive a notification saying, hey, we have to finish this report by a certain date. They'll receive that email. They'll be able to log in, and what you saw us do, they'll see the same exact thing. They'll be able to go and certify attest for someone or revoke their access. It looks like this might be a question best answered by Mark. What we have is, what do you mean? So this is, we mentioned we're backed by Okta, we're powered by Okta. Mark, do you mind kind of elaborating on this one a little bit more?
Sure, absolutely. So what that means is basically we are tightly integrated with Okta. So when you create an account on YouAttest, your login information gets stored inside Okta's user store. So all the great features that you get out of the box from Okta, all the great security features are available to you in YouAttest as well. Austin just showed you API integration. So with API integration, you can pull up all your users, applications, entitlements, and a lot more. So we have a very good API integration there as well. Furthermore, we have single sign-on capabilities for administrators and reviewers if you wish to enable that inside your account. So a lot of good stuff on top of Okta, and we're looking forward to add many more features on this platform very soon. I hope this answers the question.
Yeah, I think that's great. Thank you, Mark. So we have a few questions that are similar, and it's can we launch this? Say we do not have applications that run with Okta. Currently, we partner our software, our system works with Okta. It doesn't work with anything else. So if your application isn't on the Okta network, we won't be able to handle that. But the good news is we will be able to cover all of your Okta related applications, and we'll be able to save you a lot of time and a lot of cost for that. So say you're 50-50, 50% on Okta, maybe 50% somewhere else, we will be able to take a 50% of those expenses away and handle it there. And let me just make sure I'm reading through a few more of these. We covered that no, you do not need admin rights within Okta to do this. You could simply delegate this responsibility out to someone who isn't in charge of setting up your Okta tenant or manage it. So you don't have to have any sort of admin rights. Jennifer, this question I think might be best answered by you. So it's asking, doesn't Okta already have identity certification?
And I think the answer is we definitely have some basic functionality for each and every application where you can see potentially who is assigned to the application. You can see if you're using lifecycle management, how the user is provisioned. But if you want to do some kind of recertification campaign where you are, just as Austin showed you, right, where you are actually running a campaign where you are able to delegate to individuals and assign or deassign or revoke access, we do not have that functionality, and we partner with IGA solutions to do that.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Looks like we have a few more questions, but I'll just get to this one lastly. It's how do I sign up for YouAttest trial? So we do offer a free 5-user trial. Now, if you want to play around with it a little bit more and say 5 users isn't enough for you, we're happy to kind of hop on the phone or go back and forth in email and see what trial system would work best for your business. But if that's something you're interested, simply just send me an email, austing@youattest.com. Say that you were part of the webinar and that this is something that you would be interested in trying out, and I'll do my best to set up a nice environment that works best for your company so you could get a good feel of how YouAttest can be a really good solution for you. With that being said, I think those are all the questions we have, and I just want to say thank you. I know you spent a good amount of your morning on this call, or maybe it's late at night for you. So thank you for just taking your time to learn more about our company, more about Okta as well. And we really do appreciate it. I hope we're able to offer a solution, and I hope to hear from a lot of you soon. And a big thank you to Jennifer for joining on this call. Definitely, she's very busy, so all this time is appreciated. I will be sending out the recording. We'll send out a short survey as well. So answering that really helps steer where we are going next, but appreciate all your feedback, all your questions, and your time. Thank you so much, everyone.